Well, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Flight Deck Sim live stream. Today is the 4th of May, 2021. May the 4th be with you, etc., etc. 17:34 in the evening. Back in Expo 11, back in the ZIBO Mod 737 to go to an airport that has been requested an awful many times. Apparently, it is, according to the History Channel, the second most difficult airport to fly into in the world. It's about time we've flipping on there. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. I'm only going to say this once as well. We're flying to Honduras, the capital, Tegucigalpa, Toncontin International Airport. We're going to take a shot, hopefully onto runway 02, the very famous curved approach. You might have heard it before with the YouTube videos. It's a very famous approach of an American Airline 757 landing here. So it's going to be quite fun to try and attempt this in a ZIBO Mod 737 using real-world SOPs, live weather, live time. Here we are, though. We're going to be starting off in the Cayman Islands. We're Owen Roberts International Airport. The scenery by runway 26 simulations, nestled nicely on top of Ortho 4XP here. Flight time of 1 hour 25 minutes southwest bound, mostly over the Caribbean, and then we'll be making landfall over Honduras. Downloaded nice Ortho scenery for the entire sector, so it's a very dense forest, lots to be looking at here. Weather's not too bad in Honduras, but there is a chance for some CBs and thunderstorms potentially upon our arrival. Great to see lots of people here already. We've got John Padfield, LaJules, P-Test, Kate Foster, Craig Anderson. Just got a new member coming in as well. Welcome aboard, Lyufus. You'll get to join Team Green, get to our members only Discord. Enjoy using your custom emojis in chat as well. Avidad Gaming's here as well. Almost forgot the stream. How dare you? No problem at all, buddy. Awesome. So yeah, it's been a busy day here in the Flight Deck Sim household. I went to go see some family outside briefly. So I've been driving all over the UK. Got back home about an hour ago. Just enough time to get everything set up for this stream. I took a few practice approaches yesterday at this airport, pretty tricky. Found some mismatch between the Pappies. The Pappies are quite steep here with what the approach profile says, but we'll have our best to try to fly this RNAV radius to fix RNAV approach as well, as realistically as possible. Can't believe we actually haven't been here before, but yeah, one of the most difficult airports to fly into. Lots of high terrain around, lots of potential issues. We are on the VATSIM network today. We have some colleagues joining us here. We have a couple of alpacas. Here we are on stand 6, and we also have, I think that's a little static aircraft there, and then someone called Burak Airlines, I don't know, but yeah, it's quite nice scenery. Runway 26 simulations. I don't remember how much it cost, about $12 or something like that, quite reasonably priced, but we have flown out of this airport once before in the 737-200 about 3 or 4 months or so ago. Version of ZIBO Mod then, we're in 348.5. I flew, I think last time it was 348, the full release version, or 0.2. There were some updates which broke a lot of things, like radius to fix, curved approaches. This one I tested yesterday, all seems to be okay in the FMS, at least to fly this approach, so hopefully won't have too many problems as well, but this is the latest public one available here. Perfect. Kian Peep, I feel honoured to have a runway component named after me. Keen Pap. Oh, Pap, I see. Very good. I don't know if that's the origin of your name, though. Excellent. Perfect. Right, let's jump onto the fly deck here. Completely cold and dark. There's our ground pushback guy who's going to be watching us do our entire setup. Completely cold dark anyway. Right, batteries on, GPUs on the bus, pop on the electric hydraulic pumps. We have landing gear lever down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green lights, so then check all the aircraft documentation. Daniel says, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Isles of Scilly. Unbelievable. Yes, can't wait for you to take the mick of my lack of geographical knowledge of the area to everyone watching there. Jamie, just watched your butt of a landing in the DC-3 in one of your very early videos. Jamie, that was a really early video. You know, Jamie, my friend Jamie, are you? I don't know. I know a Jamie Evans. I don't know if it's actually you though, but if it is, hello. But if you were watching one of my earliest ones, yes, the DC-3. I've only ever done that once in a stream, but we'll definitely have to jump into that again. Right, so batteries on, electric hydraulic pumps, landing gear levers down. We check all the aircraft documentation next. Let's check the squibs. 3 green lights, faults. We have APU detector in op. And to reset this as well. There we are, overheat detector, master caution selected 2. Here's the fire warning test, 3 fire warning lights, engine overheat, wheel well, and the fire warning light, and again overheat detector as well. Louis, greetings from Argentina. Let me know if you need to ask passengers to brace the Spanish. Thanks a lot, Louis. Yes, I didn't know much about Honduras, but Spanish, an old Spanish colonial empire. I think they were part of Honduras. I think Spanish is the main language. Obviously, not that you're from Honduras, but I know they do speak Spanish as the main language. But yes, perhaps learning brace and Spanish would be a bad idea for our flight today. Right, emergency exit lights will arm. Let's have a look at our operational flight plan for our flight from Cayman Islands to Toncontin International. Flight time of 1 hour 24. We need 6.3 tons. There is the potential for some thunderstorms later, plus it's a very difficult approach. I'm going to try and apply the stabilised approach criteria, which I'll respect. So we'll take an extra 30 minutes of fuel, and we have a potential for thunderstorms and hail, towering cumulus. There's smoke forecast as well there as well. So let's take an extra 30 minutes. 6.3 is what I'd usually call for. Let's go for 7.5. That's going to be an extra 30 minutes of fuel. So fuel 7.5. We're going to take 125 passengers. Just give it a little bit lighter today. It's quite a short runway here as well. Give myself a chance. That's going to be a zero fuel weight of looking for 54 tons. Let's see if we can updates here. There we are, 53,986. So that's the fueling and boarding completed there. Rohit Captain, which is the worst landing of yours in real life? One of the worst ever landings I've done in real life was during my line training into Fuerteventura in the Canary Islands. Yes, it was one of my earliest sectors. I can't remember how many had flown, but it was quite soon after what we call safety pilot release. So it's just myself and the training captain on the initial sectors. You have an additional pilot there. And yeah, I came over the threshold looking okay, and I just forgot to flare. It just went 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, and I hit the ground. If I was to convert it into the butterometer, probably minus 600, minus 700, it would be a reasonable conversion. Needless to say, I kept the flight deck door closed after that landing, but the training captain found it all very amusing. Anyway, we'll carry on here with the rest of the setup. Push the attend button on. That's tested. Flaps are up, matching the flap indicator position, which is up as well. Stab trim will set later. Stab trim cutout switches are in normal. Cargo fire test coming up next. There we are. Fire warning lights illuminated. 2000 standby for now. We'll check the rudder and aileron trim. Stab trim is in the normal position. Manual gear extension doors closed. Circuit breakers are all in. Working our way up here. Wait a little bit longer for the stall warning test. Check the flight recorder. Mach airspeed warning test. IRS-2 navigation. That's going to take us 6 minutes. We're very close to the equator here. Circuit breakers are all in, and now we can start boarding in the Avitap there. Right, let's have a look. Do we have any ATC here? We have a centre actually. I'm sure someone here will be able to answer me here. Mike Kilo Juliet Kilo Centre. Are they able to provide ATC, or am I a little bit outside of their jurisdiction? I think it might be a different centre, because I'm looking here at the VATSIM map and I cannot actually see the centre ATC displayed around the airport. We'll soon see what happens if I start pushing back and then they start calling me. Anyway, based off the latest METAR here in the Cayman Islands, it's a lovely afternoon. It's 11 o'clock. Oh, no, that can't be right. It's 11 o'clock local time. No, I think that's when I last got the weather. It's 11:43 in the morning here, local time. The current temperature is 30 degrees Celsius and the QNH is 1016. It's absolutely roasting here and a few clouds. Lovely day here. Let's set the MFRA. Elevation here is station feet of 7 feet, so let's stick in 1007. I believe you are in their jurisdiction. Thank you very much, Hockey for life. What is that? MFRA is only 1007. So sensitive. So that's done. Now, I often don't do this in the mod, but actually the first few steps before I get the QNH and the MFRA in here is actually check the oxygen. See, in a desktop simulator, you don't have to worry about that. And actually do a lights test, and then we'd carry on setting up the EFIS panel, check your lighting. We always turn up the main panel lighting. You wouldn't see the back lights for this, but it does light up the autopilot, but during the day you wouldn't see the back lighting there. Perfect. Samuel Butler, centre should cover you. Perfect. Well, I'll give them a call. Right, so flight management computer, latest AirAC is installed, full 26k rated. We're going to be going from Mike Whiskey, Charlie Romeo. There's our IRS position updated. And we're flying into Mike
50,
Hotel
40,
Tango
30,
Golf.
20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20, 10. 20 Hey Captain plans to fly a sector with a 747 in the future.
Absolutely, Alex Grover. First, thank you very much for your donation. It's very generous. The first 747 we're most likely to fly is the Fearless 747-200, the classic, which is hopefully going to be released imminently. We have flown the default Microsoft Flight Simulator 747. It's a bit of a laugh, that one. But no, the PMDG I think is your best offering. They're Queen of the Skies, but unfortunately not available for X-Plane 11, and I don't know what other 747 I could possibly fly that's up to the kind of standard we'd like to see on this channel. So I'll have a definite think of that, Alex, and as soon as one is available that's of higher quality, we'll purchase it, get straight into it. But thank you very much for your donation nonetheless, Alex, that's very kind. I'll put that towards whatever 747 comes out next, thank you. Right, Q&H is set, Emma Frey is set as well. What VORs do we have here on the... Oh, hold on, let's just finish loading the FMS first and I'll get the nav attitude. So, Aaron Roberts to Toncontin International, and we're going to be flying the SID, which is the Ulisa 2, so departures runway 08 here. The surface wind is 130 at 12, and it's an Ulisa 2. And then from there is the Uniform Romeo 644 to Romeo Oscar Alpha, Croa, Upper Zulu 498 to Bravo Tango Oscar, Uniform Alpha 754 to Talag, and that is the beginning of the arrival into Toncontin International. So departure arrivals is going to be a Talag 1, runway 02. It's probably 20. I want to really fly the 02 approach, which is the really cool curved approach. So we'll check the wind. Good news is, guys, if it is favouring runway 20, we'll complete the flight as per real SOP, land on 20. If that's the case, what I'm going to do is do a bit of an encore. I'll reload the sim on the approach, which should only take a few minutes, and I'll save it on the ZIBO flight plan, and then we can fly the other approach offline. So either way, you'll get me to fly RMP02 today. But anyway, for now, RMP02 via Melvo, and I think it's only got a 2-knot tailwind, so I'm happy to fly up to say a 5-knot tailwind. It is a very short runway. Let's just quickly step through this, make sure there's no discontinuities. That's looking good for the RNAV approach into Toncontin. So we'll activate it, we'll execute it. Imagine the route check's complete. That's gone magenta. So performance, 0 fuel weight was 54 tons based off 125 passengers. Imagine they've just got their carry-on luggage. Alternate is an airport called San Pedro, which is also in Honduras. It's on the coastline. The reserves for that is some of these two. So it's going to be 2.3 tons. So that's plenty. We're going to take an extra 30 minutes, as we mentioned. Cost index is 30. We'll be cruising at 38,000 feet. That is executed. Are we still fueling? No, fueling's all done. Let's get the top of climb wind in. Top of climb wind is 345 at 10. Look at that. Hardly any winds today. Nice smooth conditions. 4 degrees. That's executed. 22k. Now what's the runway length here? I've got no performance data for this airport. Yeah, the runway is 2,400 meters. We're quite light. I'll be happy with full 22k for sure. Takeoff, flat 5 CG of 19.8%. 6 units of trim. Dialing that in now. And V2 is 142 knots. Perfect, so the FMS is loaded, and we've done the performance and the departure routings all in. T-Mint, what do I do when I can't find a SID on my FMC that matches my flight plan? Now, most flight plans will show you the correct SID that you need to select based off the runway in use. I double check your flight plan first, but sometimes you might find that your flight plan doesn't have a matching SID. The best thing to do, I don't know if you fly offline or online, but ask the controller. If you're on VATSIM, he'll tell you what SID to fly. And if they don't join up, just join the 2 waypoints together. So where the SID terminates, join that to your first waypoint en route. That works most of the time there, but it's unusual to have a discontinuity like that of some sorts there. Jack says, "What? I haven't watched you in a while. How are you keeping?" Very well, Jack. We've been streaming 2 or 3 times a week, and on our second YouTube channel now as well. Apart from that, quite busy doing a few things outside because lockdown is sort of half eased here in the UK. I don't know if you're from the UK here, but no, unfortunately no flying at the moment. Hopefully things will change at the end of this month or next month. It's all positive here in the UK at least. Right, so FMS is loaded. Let's go up here onto the overhead panel. Yaw damper is on. Nav transfer and display switches are all normal and auto. Fuel, no fuel in the centre tank, so we'll only put the main tank pumps on. Check the crossfeed valve. Bright, dim, bright, off. I always love this touch from the ZIBO mod. The fuel temperature matches the outside air temperature as well, because tanks are underground here. It's pretty cool. Leave on the GPU for now. Fasten seatbelt sign can come on because the aircraft has been fueled, so passengers can sit down. Window heat can come on. Probe heat comes on later. Electric hydraulic pumps are off. Trim air on. Packs auto. Isolation valve open. AP bleed is off. Now I think from my test sector the elevation hasn't changed. It should be the same because I've not been anywhere else. Just checking here. Station elevation is 3,294 feet. Perfect. 3,300. Just need to put the flight level in here. 380. Perfect. We'll pop that to steady. Let's have a little look here at the runways. Departing off runway 08, QDMO 080. A nice simple SID today. Runway heading until we get some 3 miles away from Grand Cayman, which is also coordinated with the waypoint called Reven. So you can see Reven there straight ahead. We'll tune up Grand Cayman 15.6 though, make that active. We're going to have that back up. 15.6. That's active both sides. Once we get to 3DME then, it's a right turn. It doesn't give a particular heading, but it just says right turn to intercept radial or the Uniform Romeo 644 airway to Ulysses. Well, thankfully it tells us the radial there. So what we'll do, we'll pop up to 237 on my side as pilot flying, and well, why not, Jim? Why don't you have 237 as well? So we can actually intercept that radial. And what I'll do, I might actually fly this sort of, well, I might not do raw data, but I'll turn on VOR, and we'll intercept the VOR using Vorlock, if you would like. I've never demonstrated that, so instead of using LNAV, I'll use LNAV initially, but I'll also show you how you can use Vorlock to fly radials. Not that we ever really do that these days. So that's it. So taxi then. Get the APU up and running here, because we're almost ready to go. It's going to be pushed back, most likely to face west. We have to backtrack here, so we're going to go on Echo taxiway, backtrack, vacate Bravo, round the loop onto Alpha, and take off runway 08. We'll just check the routing here in the FMS. Go straight ahead to Reven, and then have an intercept point, giving us a track of 267 to intercept waypoint to Ulysses 237 as well. Or it mentions here, look, climb to 8,000 feet as a stop altitude. So what I'm going to do is put 8,000 feet to Ulysses, and we'll set the MCP to 81, because you still need to get our clearance. Right, that is all set up. So pop the flight directors on, auto brake to RTO, reset the fuel flow, and all looking good down here. Radios are all tuned as we'd like it to be for departure. Perfect. Right, APU's up and running now. Actually, we would have had that on a lot sooner with it being so hot outside, so I'll put the APU bleed on now, turn down the conditioned air. Let's disconnect the GPU. Oh, it's already disconnected. Retract the air stairs, close the doors before I forget. There we are. Excellent. Better pushback. We'll order. Wonder how he's going to sound today.
Ground to cockpit with copy to driving up.
Excellent. Kim, we need to get this guy to 100k. Well, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe. That's the best way of getting me up to 100,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. Oh, I've lost chat. This is my YouTube Studios reset. Oh yes, hold on, we do actually have ATC. Sensors on 125.4, let me get that active. Hi Joe, hope you're doing well. Hello London Controller. Evening mate, hope you're good. Hi chat, thank you very much for your membership. I haven't actually spoken to you since you joined, but I've been very busy, but thank you very much. Louis says Sid, intercept a waypoint star, badly circle around mountains, avoid the houses, keep circling bread from my piston from the plane, try to stop it before the fence. That's the best way of describing how to fly that approach into, let me pronounce this correctly, Tegucigalpa. Tegucigalpa. I think that's how you pronounce it, according to Google it is anyway. Right, anyway, I'll try and contact this guy, see if he can get us a clearance.
Caribbean 694, when is your estimated taxi time?
Caribbean 694, I'm just going to be pushing back now.
It got really busy here all of a sudden. Uh-oh. Great. Centre, very good. Morning, Alpaca 4 Golf uniform on stand 6 here in Owen Roberts. Request departure clearance to Tegucigalpa.
Alpaca 4 Golf uniform, Kingston radar, cleared to Mike Hotel Tango Golf. They listed to departure, flight plan climb and maintain flight level 240.
Cleared to Mike Hotel Tango Golf on the Lisa 2, climb flight level 240. Alpaca 4 Golf uniform, request push and start.
Alpaca 4 Golf uniform, reback is correct. Stand by for push and start to QNH 1016.
1016, standing by Alpaca 4 Golf uniform. So Squawk is... Right, can you read that back to me, because my pen stopped working and I didn't actually write the squawk down. a pro here. I'm sure one of you could read it back, because I started writing, my pen didn't work, and then I can obviously remember it's the Lisa 2 and flight level 240, which I can now put in here as well. I'm sure someone in chat would be very proficient at reading the transponder code back. And we're all ready to go. That's not bad. Look, 5 minutes early. Thanks, Joe. Oh, he didn't say a squawk, did he not? No, 1016 is the QNH, guys. No wonder I didn't.
Controller, good morning, Alpaca 2 to
No wonder I couldn't read it back, because he didn't actually give me one.
Cayman, Boeing 738,
Probably get one after taxi. Hi Tim, hope you're doing well, buddy. You've been very quiet in Discord. I heard you've been very busy moving house and stuff.
Toncontin via Lisa 2 departure. Flight plan route, climb and maintain flight level 240.
No squawk, thanks guys. See, all these
non-real
pilot emojis didn't even give me a squawk. Just testing you guys, see if you're actually paying attention.
Alpaca 2 to Golf, reback is correct. QNH 1016. QNH 1016, and we are ready for push and start. Alpaca 2 to Golf, stand by. Stand by.
I actually need a pen and paper for my
Alpaca
80
4 Golf
sequences.
uniform, bridge start approved. Cover taxi.
Push start approve Alpaca 4 Golf uniform.
Cancel, please show me where you want to go. So, disconnect off, Alpha spinning started. Previously, parking brake when ready.
Packs off, anti-collision lights on, parking brake release, transponder should be out off already. There we are. Chair's complete. Oh my god, we're actually early. Actually pushing back early on the stream. And I started about a
Okay,
minute
starting
late.
push back now, and you may start your engines.
Where's my notepad?
Alpaca 2 to Mike November, Kingston radar. Clear to Toncontin via the Lisa 2 departure, flight plan route, climb and maintain flight level 240.
Hi Paul, good morning to you. Dave Hagen, no squawk, that's new. Some airports only give you your clearance and code after taxi. A lot of Italian airports do that.
Alpaca 2 to Mike November, reback correct, QNH 1016.
Starting engine number 2. Well, we got ahead of the rush here, guys. That was quite lucky. We've got another aircraft pushing back as well. Ed 2, oil pressure, and N1, 25%. Check the engine valve, spark valve close goes from dim to bright and off, which it did. That frame rate though, yeah, what is the current frame rate? Very good, 55 FPS at the moment. It's because it's just in the middle of the Caribbean, not too much for my PC to load. So when it's very hot like it is at the moment, 30 degrees outside, the 737, or any aircraft, is a thin metal tube with a lot of windows and the sun beating down on it. It gets very hot very quickly. So what we can actually do in this situation is an isolated pack operation start. So what we do is close the isolation valve and put the right pack into auto. That way the engine number 2 bleed is providing pressurization to the right pack, and then we can still use APU bleed to start engine number 1, and that way we can start getting nice cool air into the cabin. Ed 2.
Operation is now complete. Please set the parking brake.
Parking brake set to ma'am.
Disconnecting 2, please stand by.
Head 2, head 1, and oil pressure. Dim, bright.
Alpaca 22 Mike November, what's the estimated taxi time? Estimated taxi time is about 5 minutes. Thanks.
Disconnect. Looks like 2 good engine starts. Should have airport selected. Even how do you get the green airport rings 24632 stable? Let's put the generators on the PU off.
Has been disconnected and bypass speed has been
Easy.
removed. The signal will be on the right. Have a safe flight. See you after. Bye-bye.
You can either find the runway point or type it in RW02, put that in the fix page, and then just put /4/10. But if you look at any of my streams flying the ZIBO MOD 737, you'll see I do that on every single approach there. Is that Amy's, Will? I'm so sorry, Amy. I didn't recognise her voice. Very good. Right, generators on, APU's off, start switches, continuous. Auto APU bleed off, and that is set. Of course, you should only be doing that after you've seen the bypass bin.
Caribbean 694, ready for taxi.
Caribbean
flaps to
694,
5.
taxi runway 08, via Charlie, backtrack, line up and wait, advise when ready for departure.
Flight controls, forward, and full back, left,
Taxi
right,
runway
here goes
08
rudder,
and backtrack, line up
right, and full
rudder
left.
Taxi. Caribbean.
Recall, there we are. Must go anti-ice, there you go, probes, that's why you do things out of sequence like the air conditioning panel, it can throw you, be very careful, and that's why we always push recall, and then we always complete the before taxi checklist as well, which is obviously a 2-person requirement.
Request clearance to Toncontin. 209 extend radar clear to Mike Hotel Tango Golf meeting Lusa to departure flight plan routes Cayman
Guglimio, hi Captain, so as supplementary procedures like isolated pack can be done by memory every time. Yes, you can complete any checklist, even memory items or QA's checklist by memory, so long as no hazard exists or you endanger the aircraft. Of course, if you're not sure, reference the supplementary procedures, but you can complete them by memory so long as you know them.
Alpaca 2 Golf uniform ready for taxi.
Me too, I actually request taxi. An Alpaca 4 Golf uniform request taxi.
Alpaca 4 Golf uniform taxi to runway 8, actually runway 08 hold short Charlie.
Taxi hold point runway 08 hold short of Charlie, Alpaca 4 Golf uniform. Perfect, so 08, hold short of Charlie.
Alpaca 2 to go follow the company.
How do I get to Charlie without entering the runway?
Charlie. Follow the company 737.
That is not a taxiway I can use.
And send Alpaca 22 Mike November ready for push and stop.
Config.
Alpaca 22 Mike November, push start approved, call the taxi. Push and start please, call the taxi.
Better confirm with ATC. That one. So we send taxi hold runway 08 hold short of Charlie.
United 2098, what's your estimated taxi time? United 2098.
The US thing, yes, this is what the US guys say 8, but I don't know why he corrected it. Why am I taxiing in a... Why is the aircraft rocking? Can you see that? I hope it's actually detected this as a proper taxiway. I think there could be a scenery issue here. Yeah, I think it doesn't realise this is a taxiway, which is why I'm getting all this dust. I've got 38% and I'm hardly accelerating. Sorry, Alpaca 4 Golf uniform. Just confirm we can enter the runway via Echo because I can't get to Charlie via the taxiway.
Actually, I'm sorry. I'm using my charts. My ground layout is out. I'm pretty sure there's a new scenery, correct, for Honduras?
I've got a payware scenery, but I can't see any taxiway on the chart or at the airport here. It's just a road ahead of me at the moment.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's runway 26, so it should be Echo.
Okay, perfect. And confirm hold short Echo.
Hey, firm, hold short Echo.
Hold short Echo, Alpaca 4 Golf uniform. Yeah, so hopefully the runway won't have this issue. Look at this, I've got 38%. It's like I'm taxiing in sand. I've been at this airport before, so there's probably a slight issue with the installation of the airport.
Taxiway for Charlie or Delta, we have just Echo. Alpaca 2 Golf for short Echo.
Look at that. Yeah, something's up with the scenery here. Must be a layer issue. Look at that. I've got 38%. We should be doing 50, 60 knots now. Oh dear. Hopefully the runway won't have the same issue, otherwise we might be going for a swim. Right, anyway, here's Echo.
Center 98209, request push in, sir. United 2098 is going to be 6 minutes because I got another aircraft that needs to push before you.
Oh dear, this isn't right.
Roger, no worries.
Hope you packed enough fuel for taxi. Very good.
Kingston radar.
Hope you're doing well,
Majesty. To destination.
Right, parking brake set.
Alpaca
Right, we'll go get the
678,
spade out. Do you need to go
Michael
dig our
Hotel,
nose
Tango
with a
Golf,
main gear out?
Listen to
Unbelievable.
departure, flight en route, climb and
Louis,
maintain
parking
flight
brake
level
on. No,
247.
not the parking brake. This happens where there's sometimes an issue with the scenery, the way it's layered. So you see I have this sort of dusty cloud behind me. It thinks we're currently taxiing over grass, basically on this part here. Which is strange, because I think it must be an issue maybe with the tile, the Ortho 4XP tile, my layer order.
694 ready for, fully ready for departure.
Right, with how scenery works and explains, should be okay. Yeah, I think when I get onto the runway, we'll be grand.
678, hold clearance, brake, Caribbean 694, clear for takeoff, runway 08, to wind 140 to 101.
Clear for takeoff, fully,
So you can kind of backtrack and go all the way there. You can probably get one aircraft.
678, go ahead.
You can probably get one aircraft backtracking at a time, because once you've vacated there, you can land.
To destination via Ulisa.
Bow de law, runway should be good, I think.
Climb level 240, Alpaca 678. Alpaca 600, back correct, QNH 101.
Thank you, Louis. I'll have a good flight.
QNH 117, Alpaca 678.
Awesome. Well, we're doing well, guys. Streaming for 35 minutes, and we're already at the whole point. And with a few of you online here, but we've got ahead of that little rush there.
Kingston Center, hello, United 1178. Looking for ET level 330 to Mike Hotel Tango.
United, question 1178, Kingston radar, close request standby.
Safe
Break
flight, sir.
Alpaca 4 Golf uniform, backtrack, line up away runway 08 via Echo.
Backtrack, line up and wait, runway 08 via Echo, Alpaca 4 Golf uniform. Right, hopefully when we get on the runway, we'll be okay. I was just looking at a Caribbean, it looked like he was about to go off the side of the runway. Right, so best to do before takeoff checklist, also being cleared to line up and wait, so we'll do this.
Come back.
Come on.
Alpaca,
Yes, there we are, look.
November,
I think now we're on the runway.
taxi, runway
is it?
08, hold short Echo.
Yeah, now we're going, I think, now we're going. Look.
Hold short Echo, Alpaca 2, Mike November.
Perfect. So thankfully the runway is all fine. And we'll do the before takeoff checklist now. So config we checked, flaps we have, 5.5 green light, stab trim set for departure, 5.75 units. Quite enough set there. Whoop. 5.75 units set. Excellent.
Caribbean Airlines
So takeoff briefing, we've got PAX auto bleeds on, the V speeds are set for departure, 34, 34, 42 set. We're flying the Ulisa 2 departure, straight ahead 3 DME to Raven, and it's a right turn to Interceptor 237 radio outbound from the Golf Charlie Mike VOR to Ulisa. Stop climb flight level 240, set on the MCP.
United 1178, I have a claim.
We'll fly in a DP2, any problems we'll climb straight ahead, MSA 3000, no terrain issues, come back into
United 1178, you're cleared to Michael
Owen Roberts, Owen Roberts International, our check's complete.
Flight en route, climb and maintain flight level 240.
Roger, United 1178, cleared Jamaica Hotel Golf via Ulisa to departure level 240, and we are ready for push and start.
The 1178, read back is
Thank you very much,
right,
Julie.
QNH 10116, and I have 2 more aircraft that needs to push before you.
And we're cool ready.
Roger, we're standing by 1178, thank you.
Jan, you are a bad person for thinking the runway is okay. Damn you.
Roger.
So I could use the. I'm going to use the loop to turn around here. I mean, you can do a a 180-degree turn on the runway, but if there's a loop, you know, it'll be easier to use it. Taxiing way too fast here. Oh look, they've got 2 lines. I think one for a heavy. Yes, let's pretend to be a heavy today. That's pretty cool. Alpaca 4 Golf uniform ready for departure.
Alpaca 4 Golf uniform, wind 140 to 10 knots, clear for takeoff runway 08.
Runway 08 clear to takeoff, Alpaca 4 Golf uniform. Right, Togs in chat, ladies and gentlemen. We're on our way to the first ever time. Honduras, Tegucigalpa, Toncontin International. There you go. All in one. Excellent. Let's start the timer. Oh, not too bad a lineup if I say so myself. Right, try and fix it. Right, let's go. 40%. And just look all stabilised, push toga, set takeoff thrust. 93.7. Well, who painted those arrows on the runway? Not very straight. Okay, M1's a little bit slow to get to his target. M1, 0.3 off, usually the relay gap is bang on.
80 knots.
Checked, reach forward pressure. A little bit of left rudder coming in to maintain centre line. Crossers coming from the right, put a little bit of aider on into wind.
V1.
There we go. Keep the wings level during the rotation.
Alpaca 2 to go, backtrack land Boeing runway 08.
Gears coming up. Whoops.
Backtrack land runway 08.
And on to flight directors.
Alpaca 2 Mike November, do you have the new scenery?
Watch out for your ears.
Negative default, Alpaca 2. Right. Alpaca 4 Golf uniform, everyone time 1-1, next report position, Ulissa.
Port release, Alpaca 4 Golf.
1000.
Oh, my flight passed, but I had to listen to ATC there. Anyway, we'll bug up. And for this initial turn, we'll maintain the upspeed until we're flying inbound to the inset point for release. There's V2 plus 15, we'll select flaps 1. Oh my goodness me. Oh my god, I'm getting lazy. Correct, well spotted. I just saw that in chat. I was wondering why I was in heading select. Flaps up. So that's again the importance of checklists. MCP. You need to check transponder TARA. Which we're in. Strobe lights on, lights from nonetheless. So there you go. Timer set, did that one. But yes, well done spotting the auto throttle. I was just testing you guys. Need to be quicker. Needs to be quicker. Just a test. You got it, Kurosh. Kurosh understands. You've been watching this channel long enough. Right, flaps up, no lights.
Alpaca 2 Golf, ready for departure.
Standard. I'm gonna leave it in toga until we're inbound.
I just need to make more separation because it's non-radar.
Passing 4 for flight level 240. I have to take off checklist. So, gears off. Water brakes off. Check the air conditioning and pressurisation. Diff pressure's 2.3, climbing. And set, we'll engage VNAV now. So it's 250.
United
standard set, passing 5-7, flight level 240.
Push back approach, we 9209.
So what I'm going to do is, it's very quiet, I might actually hand fly this and do
Alpaca 2 Golf, wind 140
a little bit of hand flying. Turn the flight directors off as well. Not that this is something we do in real life, don't fly with flight directors off at my operator. So what I'm going to do, we'll leave VNAV engaged, turn off the flight directors, and we're going to revert to 4-lock centre. There we are, so we're now flying manually, and what I'm going to be doing is just pitching up now to maintain 250 knots attitude and leave the thrust in the climb position, and we're just going to stay on this heading until we see the radial coming in. It's now, we've just turned it into 737-200 basically, and then we'll intercept the radial outbound. Actually finish the after takeoff checklist. So start switches off, 3.5, gears off, water brakes off, and check tower temperature standard set. After takeoff checklist complete. Cool. So this is a heading up display now, not a track up display. So it'll show you it won't calculate a drift for you. You have to make those corrections for yourself. But yeah.
Alpaca 2-2 go. Airborne time 14, next report position, Ulysses.
If you can't forget to turn the auto throttle on if there's no auto throttle. Yeah, that's what I was simulating today. Right, there's 10,000 feet, so our econ climb speed is 290. So what I'm going to do is just bug 290, just as a reference. Start lowering the nose of the aircraft to accelerate. This is exactly what VNAV will be doing here. And then as the aircraft accelerates, oh, I've missed the radial, look, so busy. So I didn't actually expect that to go so fast, but we're only 5 miles away. Oh my goodness me, more AYARPs in chat coming up. So go to around 1,000 feet per minute. We'll keep that going around just to re-intercept that radial. And then we'll do the pre-cruise checks. We'll have to make a little bit of a turn into the wind as well. Attitude around 5 degrees, nice attitude just to accelerate and still climb. Oh, we should do everything, look, all the throttle off as well. That should do us nicely. There we are, so now I'm going to pitch up to maintain 290 knots. Radial's already coming in, look, fixed it.
Alpaca 4 Golf Uniform, what's your DME from Ulysses?
9.6 Alpaca 4 Golf Uniform. He doesn't have radar here, you see.
Alpaca 2 Golf, resume normal speed.
Free speed Alpaca 4 Golf Uniform. I think that was, sorry, disregard. That was for someone else.
Alpaca 2 Golf.
I'm reading everyone's.
Alpaca 2 Golf, free speed.
So this is a classic example of workload management, because I'm hand flying now. So if I hand fly, that decreases my capacity by about half, because I'm having to concentrate on my attitude, my airspeed, my heading, my track, my localizer, are the checks complete, which is why I just heard Alpaca and read the radio,
Alpaca 2 Mike November,
the radio back, because I thought that was for me.
Did not exceed 210 knots.
Your workload's obviously increased considerably. So established outbound on the 237 now. And we're pretty much all trimmed out. Just going to go wings level here, and I want to have to go a little bit to the left as well. And just for my benefit, next waypoint, still 35 miles away. I just can't remember what DME Ulysses was. So I'll hand fly until I get to Ulysses, which is 52 miles away. So once we're at 52 miles, we know that we're overhead Ulysses. And we'll do the post-cruise checks here, just watch the nose. Pre-cruise checks, so fuel, we have 4 pumps. Lights off, local effectives off, 5.5 set. These passengers, our check's complete. So again, just lower that nose. Just make a couple of degree turns to the right, just to get back onto that radial. That's it. Pete, one sector in the Airbus and it goes all wrong after. I'm used to everything. I'm used to everything doing itself now. Yeah, it's nice just to have flying. There's back to 290 knots. I need to increase my thrust to the climb thrust as well. 98.4. A little bit too much.
Cayman 2404, Kingston.
There we go. Looking good.
Yeah, I don't have a flight plan for you.
So I'm not very interactive with chat at the moment because I'm hand flying still.
Airborne time 18, next support position, Ulysses. Support position, Alpaca 678, British start approved.
So we'll just wait until 52 miles and then we'll re-engage the automation. So when you're hand flying like this, I've got nothing at the moment. I'm just old school basically. It's like a 737-200 without the autopilot as well, especially. But in climb it's very easy. You just set your climb thrust. That means regarding your airspeed, all you have to do is pitch to maintain a speed. So that's something that's a little bit easier to manage here. Lateral navigation. It's a heading up display now, not a track up, so we won't actually tell you where you're tracking, which is a bit more difficult, but we've only got a 12 knot crosswind, so it's going to be, 1 degree correction, 2 degrees at this speed at best, so I'm just going to make small changes to stay on that radial. Let's see how accurate we're flying here anyway. Unfortunately, it's not a map with, you can't have the little thing on, unfortunately. So yes, take my word for it, we are on this line.
Cayman 7240 clear to on Roberts via text.
So now we have 2,000 feet to go. There's no point selecting vertical speed or anything like that because there's no automation or flight director. So I'm just going to lower that nose slightly to maintain 2,000 feet per minute. There it is. Make a slight correction to the left here. And then we'll slowly have to reduce thrust to maintain 290 knots. So there's around 2,000 feet per minute. It's very small corrections. Just come on, a couple more degrees to the left. There's one to go. So again, further lower that nose.
There
there's around 1,000 feet per minute. And slowly reduce that thrust just to maintain our econ climb speed. Just kind of mirroring what the automation would do. Just need to get back on that radio a little bit there. Very small inputs and changes. Just going to go a couple of degrees more to the left. There's 290 knots, 1,000 feet per minute. Very small inputs. And just anticipating that level off at 24,000 feet. I'll use the control wheel steering. Note this is completely flying manually. Stick and rudder. Well, no rudder in the 7.3 in normal flight.
I think I'll give up the 404.
Anticipating the level off. Heading should get back on that radial. So he's got no radar. He doesn't actually know how high we are. Let's just level off. Now, what's really useful in your hand flying is something called the FPV, the flight path vector. If you put that on the horizon, you'll maintain level flights. Alpaca 4 Golf Uniform, level 240, request further climb, 43 miles to Grand Cayman.
Alpaca 4 Golf Uniform. You said how much miles you are from Gulf Trans?
We're currently 45 miles, level at flight level 240, request further climb.
Alpaca 4 Golf Uniform, climb flight level 380.
Climb flight level 380, Alpaca 4 Golf Uniform. So, 0 is
30
set, and we're not in pitch mode to climb mode, so again slowly input climb thrust, and then pitch up to maintain 290 knots. There we are. Easy as that, easy as that. FPV equals cheating, nothing to see Matthew Presley, shush. Actually, when you do your your license skills test, you're not allowed to use the flight path vector for raw data. So you're quite right, I'll turn it off. so easy to maintain level flight. Who do you have there? Alpaca Maintenance, thank you very much for the £1.7. Did Dispatch tell you this aircraft was just cleaned and detailed today? We're not impressed at your Dust Bowl taxiing strategy. Better stick it through the auto wash at the other end, and that should be more enough for the fare. Thanks a lot, Alpaca Maintenance. Sounds like you're straight from Llama. That's very kind. Thank you very much, Alpaca Maintenance, for £1.7. We'll put it through the auto wash then. There we are. Right, anyway, there's 52, so I will report the waypoint there. So when you've been hand flying the 737, it's very important to kind of re-engage the automation in a certain order. So the first thing you need to do is turn the flight directors on. That's step one.
I see you now inside Cinema Center, so Monkey Unicom, good day.
Unicom, and thanks a lot for the ATC, Alpaca 4 Golf Uniform, bye.
Well, I could hop on MHTG if you guys want.
Sorry, say again.
I control Toncontin as well if you guys want.
Oh, if you want to jump in, that's great. Request from Way02 later.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Perfect. The controller can teleport. Brilliant. So yeah, as I was saying,
United 1178. Yeah.
When you've been hand flying, re-engaging the automation then. So first your flight director's on, select a roll mode and pitch mode, so LNAV and VNAV, and then command, and then auto throttle. Check all your FMAs afterwards. N1 LNAV, VNAV speeds. There we are. Happy days. All looking good. So yeah, that was quite good fun. I hope you kind of. I was talking through what we do. This is something we don't practice routinely. We can hand fly, but we don't disconnect the flight directors. We have those to follow, so it's quite important actually when we jump in the simulator for our recurrency training. We actually do some hands-on, flight director or flying to kind of stay competent in that area and stuff. I hope you found that interesting. Very cool. And ETA, ladies and gentlemen, we're touching down 1827 Zulu. So that is a little over an hour from now.
Alpaca 2 Golf over Uliza.
Oh, I should actually be on Unicom, I think he just said. He did just say that.
Unicom, thank you for service. Alpaca 2 Golf. Bye. Bye.
There we are, we're on Unicom now. Well, if he comes over to Toncontin International, brilliant. Similarly, why auto throttle after the autopilot? The autopilots were going to be controlling your pitch and roll primarily, and actually Boeing don't want you hand flying with the auto throttle engaged unless you're taking off or going around. So autopilot always in first. The order is flight directors, roll mode, pitch mode, or pitch mode, roll mode, autopilot, then the auto throttle's last. That's the last thing you want to engage. Gino, song's called Foreign Exchange by Global Dub. It's royalty-free music. They are 10 degrees. It's just the Caribbean underneath us. And there is the lovely livery. Oh look, we've got the Tron squares, of course. Ben Spouse is trimming as well. It's not easy when you're doing the thrust and level off altitude. Yes, I am trimming, and actually I've got the trim noises disabled in the mod, just because, well actually, it's probably a little bit better now, but in earlier versions of the mod it used to trim too much to basically replicate how the automation would work. But yeah, trimming usually, once I've got my speed set, 290 knots in that case, in the climb there, once I've got the attitude set, trim it, and then you can pretty much hold it all steady. With the underslung engines on the 737, you'll find that every time you change the thrust, the aircraft will pitch. So if you add thrust, because it's below the centre of gravity, the nose will come up, and then when you reduce the thrust, the nose wants to come down. In the real aircraft, that's actually really exasperated. So when you go around and you set go-around thrust from your approach thrust setting, the nose, not only do you want to obviously pitch up to 15 degrees, you don't actually have to pitch up that much, because when you add that go-around thrust, the nose really comes up high. And what actually you have to do, and what catches a lot of pilots out who are new on the 737, is when you go around, once you've got 15 degrees, you often actually have to push nose down, otherwise the nose wants to keep coming up. So you go around, all that thrust comes up, nose wants to come up with the underslung engines, you pitch up slightly, and when you get to 15 degrees, you often have to pitch nose down just to set that attitude and trim nose down as well. If you're flying an auto land as well, what happens at around 300 to 400 feet, it starts trimming nose up as well in preparation for the auto land. So if you then subsequently go around and fly manually, it's a real, you know, to really push that nose down at 15 degrees to stop the nose jumping up. Silent treatment. Why does my FMC never line up with the runway on final? You might be flying an offset approach there, silent treatment. Is that only at one airport, or is that every single approach you're flying? It could be that you had a slight issue there with well, not an issue, but the approach you're flying might be offset. Edwin, hi, Flight the Sim is the Mike Hotel Tango Golf scenery, payware, freeware, but with the ortho. So basically there was some freeware scenery available. I installed it. I could not tell the difference between the one that was installed or the one that was available on the gateway, so the stock X-Plane 11. It looked absolutely identical to me, so I don't know whether that developer has added it to the gateway, because previously I think the guy that made the freeware version, it used stock X-Plane 11 parts, so it didn't need any custom libraries. I couldn't tell the difference, apart from the fact his ortho was good enough for today. Thanks a lot, Danny, for the £1.73. Says, hi, Captain. What is the maximum altitude you're allowed to hand fly the 737? Great question, Danny. It's very much SOP specific, but at my operator, we can hand fly below 24,500 feet whenever we wish. Obviously, taking into account the kind of working environment with regards, is it, you know, are there thunderstorms around? Are we flying into London Heathrow, you know, or Madrid? And very busy TMA, not the best place to be hand flying. But if the weather's fine, the workload is low, there's no problem. We are actually, you know, I wouldn't say encouraged, but there's no one's going to say anything to you if you hand fly below that height. Matthew Presley, Turkish learned that lesson. You're talking about the Turkish in Schiphol? I mean, that was more the order throttle disconnected, and then the aircraft stalled and they didn't realise, as opposed to the trim. But yeah, they couldn't actually get the nose down and everything on that one. Francesca, have you ever had severe engine damage or anything like that? Touch wood, no, I haven't. The most I've ever had, we were landing once, this was years and years ago when I was still based in Spain. We had a bird strike on approach, and we did ingest a bird, and after we vacated, started taxiing, skipper added thrust, and there was a very slight vibration, joined with the smell of Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'm not even joking or exaggerating here. If you ingest a bird and it goes through the core of the engine, it smells like chicken, cooked chicken. And what happened was, this bird had gone through the core, also through the fan blade, and it bent one of the fan blades, one of the N1 fans right in the front there. Only ever so much, but you imagine how finely measured these fan blades are. It was enough with just taxi thrust to cause a very slight vibration. We brought up the engine MFD, and the vibration was up at, I think it was 2.5, 3, I can't remember. Taxied on stand. Thankfully, it was the last flight of the day. Pulled up, and then we could see that this bird had gone through the engine. In fact, if you remember on Discord, what I'll do, I'll try and find it later, the picture from this damage to the engine and stuff. But yeah, they had to replace the fan blade and the fan blade opposites, do a boroscope inspection afterwards as well. And thankfully, we hit this bird around 200 feet, and it was night time, so we didn't even see it. We didn't even hear it. It was just like it was like a thud. It was like a sound like that. We didn't even think about it. And we were like, "Did you hear that thud sound?" I was like, "Yeah." Mercury, that's what you used to sell, Captain. You're quite right. I used to work behind a chicken rotisserie counter in Morrison's, and the supermarkets are available. Fly half 2, how do you get top of climb wind to show in the OFP? Mine only shows average. Have a look at the operator options available in Lido Simbrief. You'll find one there. Eventually matches the one that you see in my flight plan. And Jamie Evans. Jamie, I didn't actually see your last point there. Are you the Jamie Evans I know? I think I might have seen you before and I queried this and you were like, no, I don't know you. Time to bring out the duty free, said Jamie Evans. Hoopy, what approach are you doing? We'll be flying the famous runway 02 approach. I'm going to actually have a little look at the weather, see what's going on. I might, if it's like a 10 knot tailwind, I might lock off because I really want to fly 02. I don't want to fly any other approach.
50, 40, 30,
requests,
20,
requests.
10.
Thank you very much, Jonas. Let's pay for the €5. It's very, very kind.
Hey there, hope you're good.
Thank you.
Did a RNPV into RWI-23 in Split yesterday. I was sweating there, it's so close to the mountains. No butter, but okay, laughing face.
Thanks a lot, Jonas. Let's play for the €5. Sounds like you had fun going into Split. That's RMP Victor, I think you said, to runway 23. A lot of mountains around Split, Croatia there. But does not always remember the criteria for a safe landing. Boeing specifically say a smooth landing is not the criteria for a safe landing, so I wouldn't worry about that. So long as it wasn't over 1,000 feet per minute, I think you'll be grand. Thank you very much for your donation. Again, Jonas, that's been had for the continued support. Very kind. Rory Shields rotisserie with a hint of Jet A. Brilliant. Jackers, you buy chicken from Morrison's every day. There you go. There you go. Say goodbye to Grand Cayman. Next stream, guys. Fancy some BAE 146 action again? I think a little 2-sec today is in order. I really enjoyed that stream into London City on Friday. Also on Saturday, guys, on the gaming channel, we're going to be doing a race with some of the members. So if you like car racing, we're going to be doing an MX-5 race. I've got my steering wheel and my gear stick, so I'm going to be doing that on Saturday if you are so interested. Not that I know that everyone here is interested in my other side of things, but we'll be doing that. Joe Drage, did someone say mountains? Yes, I know you like getting rather close to them on the approach. Well, I would say rather close. Impacting them would be the best way of putting it. Jamie Cook, hi Captain, have you ever not been shown the bypass pin after pushback? Have you ever had to ask for it, or are ground crew usually on the ball? On the ball, Jamie. I don't think I've ever had to ask them to show me a bypass pin. I have had once a ground crew leave the tow bar. So when a pushback is complete, we always check for three things: one, tug, and the tow bar and the bypass pin. I want to see, before I'm taxiing anywhere and if I've been pushed back, I want to see those three things: the tug, the tow bar. Now if it's a pushback tug which doesn't have a tow bar, that's fine, so just the tug and the bypass pin. If I haven't seen all three or two without the tow bar, I'm not going anywhere. And the ground crew guy, it was really busy. They'd had a lot of delays. I mean, they were really desperate to get to another aircraft because they've got to push back everyone there, and I think he just rushed because he pushed us back. He drove his tug, and the tug was going, and he was waving the bypass pin at me, and I was, got the FO to open his window and start waving him, and he stopped, and he knew straight away what he'd done. He just turned around and picked the tow bar up and went. He'd actually disconnected it, so the tow bar was disconnected. He was just laying there in front of the aircraft. So yeah, it's very important to make sure that the aircraft, the tug and tow bar, all equipment is clear, because do I have responsibility as captain? Yes, I do. I've got to ensure that before I start moving that we're free of all ground crew. Yes, it's the ground crew jobs as well. And the same way when we tax onto stand as well, we have to make sure that there's no equipment in the way. So things like stairs that have been left, are they outside the designated area? I've once, gone to an airport, about to put on stand, and there's equipment that's left there, and it's like, well, no, I'm not going anywhere. And then they come over. I'm not saying all ground crew, not at all, but this guy was, well, it's like I'd upset him or something. He was like there with his hands in his pockets, moving really slowly, and that is very much the only time there. Otherwise, all ground crew, very professional, doing their job correctly there. Jamie Evans, are you tempted to try the 3-engine takeoff in the 146? Absolutely, that'd be wicked if we could get the guidance on that. I couldn't believe that when I read that. Tim, some of the other side of things are best left on the other side, trains being one. Tim, I'm going to do another train sim stream. That was awesome. I want you to watch. Warhawk's current weather is literally 8 knots direct tailwind. Are you joking?
50, 40, 30,
that's too much.
20,
like I said,
10.
Fly whatever approach is in use. If it's not, fly the approach again offline with the weather off.
Great as usual, mate.
Tim, that's very generous. Thanks for the £20. As I've mentioned so many times before, Tim, you're a long-time serving member. You don't need to donate at all. It's very kind of your generosity. Thank you very much for 20 quid. Great as usual. Very happy. I hope you enjoyed the raw data flying and the approach later into Toncontin International in the capital city, Tegucigalpa, Honduras. Thank you, Google Translate. Excellent. Start setting up for this approach. Yes, well, when I took off, we had a 2-knot tailwind. It's now an 8-knot tailwind. I think the wind's quite variable, so let's start setting up for the approach in around... what are we? We've got another 30 minutes. We start setting up in another 10 minutes. Hopefully there'll be another weather update, and the wind will become a little bit more... or a little less southerly. I don't think it's going to swing round, but the forecast is for it to be light and variable. Matthew, our ground crews never want to park us. Always takes 10 minutes to come out, so some guy here just blocks the road to create a traffic jam until they come out. I've got similar stories, Matthew, I'm not going to repeat, but yeah, sometimes you do need a little bit of a kick just to get them running. Oh, we have some ATC. What centre is this, I wonder? I have no idea. No idea. Mike Hotel Charlie Charlie. Radar, good afternoon. Alpaca 4 Golf uniform, maintaining flight level 380 inbound to Sydney.
Alpaca 4 Golf uniform, Cinema Center Squawk 5646.
5646, Alpaca 4 Golf uniform. 56.
Radio line 694, radar contact, flight level 330, 1 miles northeast of Luna.
Cool. Great to get some ATC. Listed with tailwind landing.
Alpaca 4 Golf uniform, radar contact, flight level 309 miles northwest of Sins. And you said you wanted the RMP for 102, correct?
A firm Alpaca 4 Golf uniform, thank you.
Roger, you can expect that.
Appreciate it, thanks. well, up to an 8 knot tailwind. Right, well, we'll see. I mean, 8 knots, I'm going to be pushing it for landing performance, especially if it's wet, because you know how X-Plane 11's wet runway isn't wet, it's more like it's covered in rime ice.
Caribbean
So very slippy. I did a test sector yesterday, and I landed on the numbers with a tailwind, and I went off the edge of the runway.
Caribbean 694, currently the winds are 2008 knots. Would you like the RMP for runway 20?
Yeah, sure, the RMP will do fine for Caribbean 694.
I might just make it easier for this
Okay,
guy.
you can expect RMP approach runway 20. Clear direct to Melville, Mike, Echo Lima, Victor, Oscar.
Is that the teleporting controller? Maybe, Jonathan. It sounds similar.
RMP 120 on direct.
Central America Center. Thanks, Gustavo.
You're not cleared for the approach. Just proceed back to Malco.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say clear.
Central America Center, Alpaca 4 Golf uniform. Yeah, looking at that wind, we'll probably take 2-0. I'll keep an eye on it. If we can get us in on 0-2, I'll let you know based on the latest wind when we get a bit closer.
Alpaca 4 Golf uniform, roger.
Perfect. So yeah, what I want to do, I want to complete this sector as realistically as possible, like I do with all my sectors. So based off the prevailing wind conditions, we'll fly that particular approach. They're not going to ever fly a tailwind on the more challenging approach here. So we'll do one of two things. If the wind dies down, we'll fly the runway 02, the kind of the RNAV arc onto 02. If the wind's too strong, we'll do it all as realistic as possible. Land on 20, we'll taxi vacate, and then I'll put you to a BRAP back screen, guys. If you let me reload the sim, it'll take me 10 minutes. I'll put us just before we flew the approach at the point where we break off, and then we'll fly it as a sort of encore. So we'll fly it either way. Oh, Gustavo, thank you. You can call him Cinema, the abbreviation Cinema. Very cool. I've not flown around here even on that sim. I think this is the first ever time we've flown towards or into Central America.
Alpaca 4 Golf uniform, same Mach number?
Mach decimal 77 Alpaca 4 Golf uniform.
Okay, we can increase to 78.
Wilco Alpaca 4 Golf uniform. 78 it
Alpaca
is.
to go further contact, follow over 350, 9 miles northwest of Saint. Maintain Mach decimal 7.
Oh, it is the same guy, Domino Mosia, yeah.
Level 340 for a directional flight.
Perfect.
Descend after level 340 and...
Kira, shouldn't the engine parameters? Yes, sorry, we have the compacted display here. As long as the lower DU is blank, you
Okay, Alpaca to go confirm Mach decimal 77. Sorry, 0.77, Alpaca to go, thank you.
Gunnar Wasong, is this Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020? It isn't, this is X-Plane 11. Lincoln controls most of the Americas, and thank you very much, Nicholas Barr, who just joined as a member. Glad you joined the content. You get invited to our members only Discord, join using the custom emojis chats, and I hope you're doing very well, sir. Thank you. RPG, how long till Tegucigalpa? Tegucigalpa. Based off 02 at 1827, so about 45 minutes from now.
5626, sorry, Alpaca 22 Mike November.
Kingston DJ, is the Cayman scenery an updated payway? Yes, it's version 3 by Runway 26 Simulations, so I wonder if that update's broken the taxiway, because I have streamed, I bought that scenery, I did a stream in the 737-200 about 4 or 5 months ago, and we went from, I think it was Jamaica to the Cayman Islands, and Cayman Islands to Key West, and I bought the scenery for 2 airports for that stream. So it was version 3. When I finish with the scenery, guys, what I do after the stream, I uninstall it because I want to try and save space on the hard drive. I do that for 2 reasons. Yeah, save space on the hard drive, and B, when I decide to go to the airport again, it makes me download it from the store, the applicable store, and it will be the most up-to-date version as well. So I usually uninstall it after I've completed the flight. Alex says, "Hi Captain, I've been having problems with my ZIBO. My Mose wheel tiller doesn't work. My settings haven't changed ever since I stopped, including Avitab. I also tried to reinstall, but nothing." Alex, I'm very sorry about kind of seeing a video of what's going on there, but if Avitab's not working as well, that sounds like is an issue with the install. But you said you just tried a clean one. I don't know there, Alex Sheehan, I'm afraid. Sorry, buddy. Justin Roberts, will you fly the MD-11? Absolutely, when it's released. Now what's going to happen? If the wind does get less and we fly onto runway 02, if it dies down a little bit, you know it's going to change as soon as we get onto the approach, and it'll crack into a headwind. Oh, they updated the bet time 45 minutes ago. Surely a new one's coming out. Tron Sea. That's what someone was saying. The sea's beautiful. Where's the reflection? Look at that. Yeah, it looks okay. The water up here. Obviously, it's not quite how it looks in Microsoft Flight Simulator, but Sim is amazing. This one, at least. 55 FPS in the mod.
December, hello, United 1178, reaching level 320.
United 1178, Cinema Center, squawk 5777.
5777, we're doing Mach
Minty, dreams to become a pilot. Do you have any advice? I'm guessing you're quite young there, Minty, so if you're still at school, study as hard as possible. When you finish school, or as soon as you can, get a part-time job as well. Airlines or any prospective employer, if you decide to go elsewhere, will like the fact that you've worked from a young age. Yeah. And there's loads of different ways of getting into it. Finance-wise, you know, I had to take a loan to secure that. My parents had to secure that against their house because it was the only way I could afford to get the flight training costs done. Some people go modular, which is done over a longer period of time. It's cheaper to do it that way as well. Which is the way I done it. But yeah, there's lots of useful advice there from a lot of the flight training schools. Is it a good time to start flight training? Personally, I'd perhaps wait a short while because of what's happened with coronavirus pandemic. And again, I hate saying that because I know a lot of my viewers are currently in flight training. It is looking very positive now, obviously, especially in America, the US. Europe's looking better. You know, this week, I even think it was announced yesterday, they said that EU is now looking at ways of reintroducing safe air travel as soon as June. So yeah, it's looking positive. The opportunities will come again soon.
Was that for Caribbean?
And the Embark, another Airbus A300 stream. Airbus or 300 or Beluga? I've got a Beluga. It's always more fun to take that. One of the members has made a very cool load for me to take as well, which I need to plan. But no, I'll take the 146 next because I don't want to forget everything I learnt about that in preparation for the inaugural stream last Friday. Whilst it's still fresh in my mind. But we'll do a 2-6 day. I was sort of thinking Australia because a lot of people have requested Australia, and I might stream a bit earlier, so sort of stream in the morning time, 10, 11. Could do that maybe on Sunday, so that gives guys in Australia a chance to watch it live in the evening. But yeah, I'll play it by ear and what guys suggest. RS Turbo, is there a decent 767 aircraft to fly an X-Plane 11? Yeah, the flight factor ones. I've got the 7.5, but I think they're 7.6. Just like the real 7.5, they're based on the same aircraft, so I think it's pretty good. As Will Henwood has put you has suggested there. Boy Brabham, since a few days ago I started using Reshade, it makes the sim look so much more realistic. Yeah, there's so many shaders and all sorts you can use to improve the sim. Quite running mine vanilla because that means less likely to have issues with the sim. But no, I don't want to jinx anything, I'm not going to say anything. I had a few issues recently, but it's all looking good at the moment. Ian Stewart, can you explain how you check the pressure gauge on the overhead? Absolutely, sir. So this is the most important instrument here. It is your indication for cabin altitude and differential pressure. And the one we're interested in is primarily the differential pressure, because that's it ensures that the aircraft is pressurised. Now, you'll notice that the cabin altitude at the moment is around 8,000 feet, and the pressurization schedule is completely automated. All we need to tell it is, right, this is our cruise altitude, this is our elevation, so when you plan to descend you can depressurize, make sure the aircraft's depressurized, or around the ambient pressure outside when you've landed. And there's two pressurization mode controllers, they alternate between the two, and you can choose if one stops working, you can go to alternate and use that system. The two systems do alternate between sectors. You have then the option to also manually pressurize the aircraft, and this allows you to directly control the outflow valve using DC power. So there's a demonstration here. Look, if I quickly open it, just a little blip here, notice how the real aircraft, it'd be a lot quicker. It'd be really quick in climb. You have to really, in the real aircraft, only push this very briefly. But you can see, look, by slightly opening the outflow valve, the cabin's going to start climbing now. But I want to leave that in auto. See, look, it's put it towards close.
Alpaca 4 Golf Uniform clear, direct Malvo.
Direct to Malvo, Alpaca 4 Golf Uniform. Excellent. That's the beginning of the arrival for both approaches. That's executed. LNAV engaged. Oh no, well that lovely ortho I downloaded for this area. I hope I've actually got it. Uh-oh, we might have some ortho issues. I always get these lovely shortcuts which I don't anticipate online. So yeah, big needles differential pressure, the little needles are your cabin altitude measured in feet, cabin rate of climb, so you can notice now as the outflow valve is closed, the cabin altitude is decreasing, that'll increase the diff pressure. But what we do every 10,000 feet on the climb is check the differential pressure, make sure it's increasing, and the cabin altitude again isn't the same as your outside altitude. If you've got a pressurization issue, the first thing you're going to probably notice is your ears popping, but we routinely check this in the cruise every 10,000 feet climb and descent as well. If you have a depressurization issue, like a rapid depressurization or the aircraft's depressurizing, we try and control it using the manual mode in the instruction of the QRH. But if you see the diff pressures decreasing and the cabin altitude's increasing, you've got a pressurization issue. So anticipate that and get the oxygen mask on it once cabin altitude is above 10,000 feet. And whenever the cabin altitude is above 10,000 feet, we immediately do an emergency descent to 10,000 feet or the MSA. Brandon says, Hans van Vuren, Captain, I think it's high time we did a Jaybird to Cape Town stream. The viewer table mounted on finals runway 19 at sunset is worth it. I will consider that, Brandon. We've only done one flight in South Africa. Tromso has been suggested. Matrix C, said John. Matthew, the US is by far the cheapest area to flight train in, so if you can get the proper clearances, you can save a bunch of money by training in the US. It's exactly what they did at Oxford. We did 6 months in Arizona, and yeah, we had to go to the US Embassy in London, get a working visa and stuff, but that's what they do. Jono, with COVID, do you only allow maximum 63 passengers, one person per row? No, Jono, there's no restrictions but face masks on. Maybe some airlines have that restriction, I don't know, but at my operator that's not the case as far as I know. I've been flying this year, but not with passengers. I've not had any passenger flights this year. Right, let's see if we can get an update on this weather again. Oh, it's still this latest METAR. Oh, wait! Oh no, that's the wrong airport. I was getting a bit excited. That's the Cayman Islands. It's still 2008 knots, 8 knot tailwind. Oh, what should we do, guys? Let me know in chat. Do you want to... I might turn live weather off. That's one thing I could do. I tell you what. Let's request runway 02. And if the tailwind's really strong, I'll just turn live weather off. Because looking at the weather, broken 3,000, 8,000 meters. The only thing is the pressure will change, and I have to update the pressure. It'll be interesting. Peter, what approach are we flying today? That's the question. That's the question. We should be flying 20, which is the boring approach, straight in. We want to do 02. Isn't the maximum tailwind 10 knots? I mean, yes, on a normal runway, Kurosh, but at an airport like this with a very short runway and potential rain, it could be a problem. Could be a problem. Let's... Alpaca 4 Golf uniform.
Alpaca 4 Golf uniform, passengers.
Sorry to mess you around today. We are going to actually request, if you have the capacity, runway 02.
Yeah, sure, you can expect that.
Thank you very much. Let's do it. And if the tailwind doesn't change, guys, I will probably, when we get within 10 miles, turn live weather off, just quick, because the wind's going to be
Alpaca 4 Golf Uniform.
wind's going to be light. I'll quickly update the QNH and do it that way. We all want, yeah, absolute Daryl. I want runway 02. I don't want to do anything else, so we'll just remove the wind on final. I might try out the tailwind, but that's just not realistic. You know how much I crave realism in these streams. Nifty Nito, thank you very much for your membership. Welcome aboard, buddy. Glad you joined the content. You get invited to our members-only Discord. You enjoy using those custom emojis in chats. Thank you very much. Right, then, let's have a look at this approach. Coming in from the north. There it is. Look at the performance as well. Runway should be dry. Right, so let's start setting up the approach. We'll hand over control to Jimothy. So Zen page 250 below 10,000 feet. Execute forecast 310, 200 and 100. Look at the winds, 257 and 2, 785. Honestly, there's not much point putting them in, it'll make zero difference. Let's put them in anyway. I'm going to probably turn them off anyway. It's not blowing much in the Caribbean this evening. Or this afternoon, I should say, being live time. That'll do. Right, this is going to be interesting because once we're on the local QNH pressure setting, it won't matter. But when you're flying an RNAV approach or a non-precision approach using VNAV, it's very important that you have the correct QNH set. So I am going to base that off the forecast QNH. So long as we have that set, it shouldn't matter if we do turn off live weather. Anyway, that's in there. 3009. What's the temperature there? It is 25 degrees, pretty warm. Ice deviation's not modelled anyway in X-plane, so I wouldn't worry about that. Runway 02 then, fixed rings, just for situation awareness 10 and 4, but I'm going to configure based on our position on this approach as opposed to 10 and 4 mile rings there. We're at 38,000 feet. 114. Top of descent.
Alpaca 4 Golf Uniform at pass discretion, descent across Melbourne at 8,000, QNH 1019.
At Pice discretion, cleared to descend across Melvo at 8,000, QNH 3009 at Alpaca 4 Golf Uniform. So 8,000 feet.
1019.
Oh, 1019, like it, Alpaca 4 Golf Uniform, thanks. 1019. That's interesting, so they're actually using QNH there. Hold on. 009. That can't. 1019, I was going to say. Still going to double check this. I mean, it's 1019. 1019. I haven't got my conversion table, but I'm sure he said 1019, and we'll punch that in here. That sounds like 3009 anyway. Yeah, 3009. The Metar's given me inches. 3099 on Jupiter, brilliant. Yeah, so someone go convert that for me. God, Jim. 3009, just confirm the QNH for 3009 is 1019. That'd be great. We do actually have conversion tables in our manuals. Right, so frequencies courses, let's get the chart out. Left us a little bit late.
Sorry.
So 019, final approach course. This is just a reference. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Listerman and Warhawks. Zero 09, minimums, look at this, 1100 feet, 4429. Wow. That is taking ages. So, what we're going to be doing, guys, we've already been cleared direct to Melvo. Melvo is to be at above 9,000. However, if you go to this, oh no, this one is 9,000. Click on the straight-in approach, it's 8,000. So we have 9,000 feet above, 250 knots maximum. I don't want to be doing 250 at this point here, so I'm actually going to slow down a lot sooner. I think that's just the way it's been coded, look, because it goes from 250 to 165.
For government purposes, you're doing the RMP for 02, amend the altitude to 9,000.
When ready to send 9,000 feet, level Melvo, Alpaca 4 Golf uniform. Haven't finished setting it on the MCP anyway, oh dear. Right, 9,000 feet set. So actually, what I want to do is from Melvo, as it's the initial approach fix, I want to bring my speed right back to 220 knots. And I'll actually start slowing right down, and that's correct, it should still display 250 here. And I'll already have the speed window open, VNAV path with the speed window open here, directly controlling the speed. So 220 below. So what we're going to do is come in via Melvo, MSA, look at this, 8,600 to the northeast. It's just a lot of high terrain around. If anything goes wrong, make sure we get above 9,000 feet if we start going off on headings and things like that. So we're going to go via Melvo, and this is an RMP.
We are ready to go direct to Melbourne.
RNAV approach with AR. AR stands for authorization required. At my operator, I am not approved to fly AR. We're not approved to fly AR approaches. AR approaches are sort of special approval from ATC, training required in a simulator, I believe, or some sort. Maybe not all the time, but yeah, we don't have approval to fly these particular approaches, but it's the only way to get onto this approach from the north. So special aircraft and aircrew authorization required. Thankfully, Alpaca Airways are fully qualified. RF radius to fix, GPS capability required, so the FMS has to have the ability to fly radius fixes, which this one does. RMP required then is 0.3, standard RMP approach required. When we're flying this approach, we need to make sure after the final approach fix, the cross-track error, this is my operator's SOP, does not exceed half the RMP. So the maximum cross-track error is 0.15, and we monitor this for vertical deviation and lateral deviation on approach. So, sorry, wrong page there, progress page 4. So we're going to go around Melvo 017, 8,000, 8,000, 015, 7,000. Just want to temporarily delete this, see if this leaves us high. No, we're going to be well above that, so that's fine. 14, 15, sorry, 17, 15, 14, 17, 15, 14, 13, 6236. We're going to be checking all of these individual heights. 012, 5599, 4144. Can't actually see the charted heights there. But essentially, what this approach does, it takes you all the way to the threshold, and you can actually utilise that automation all the way down. Oh, the wind's changed. New wind is 1204 knots. Hip hip hooray, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. So yeah, we're going to go all the way around here. You can utilise the automation, but we're going to have a bit of fun. When we get onto this base point here, I'll disconnect the automation, hand fly this. I kind of like put my head view like this. It works well because I can still see the instruments and the runway. So yeah, it's an RNAV approach there, all the way around, radius to fix to the threshold. That's all you need to remember here. Now, I don't know if anyone here has any experience. We've got Matthew here, which I know is a CRJ pilot. I don't know if you've flown into Toncontin before. The glide path angle is 3.5 degrees, so this approach is 3.5, but if you actually have a look at the PAPI angle, it's 5.3, so I need to have a chat. I don't know if V1 flies into this airport as well either, but the glide path angle, the angle for this approach doesn't coincide with the PAPI angle, which means when you come around this corner following the approach perfectly, you're going to get 4 reds, which obviously we know 4 reds too low, should be going around here. So you'll see on the approach it does mention VGSI and descent angle not they don't match. So I've got a funny feeling when they fly this approach, they are approved to kind of ignore the VGSI. They can actually go below it and fly it visually. Because I've watched some videos of this approach being flown on YouTube by several operators, 75737s. You can't see the PAPIs, but they are definitely not coming in at 5 degrees here. They're definitely not coming in at 5.3 degrees. That's almost like London City steepness here. So I'm actually going to disregard that PAPIs. You will see 4 reds, guys, but as explained here, I'm going to be flying the kind of the RNAV descent path of 3.5. That's a decision I'd make in real life. We receive a briefing document, by the way, which would explain, yes, this is what you can see. You can fly this here. So that's it. What else have we got to miss here? So procedure not authorised if it's below 14 or above 52 degrees Celsius. What's the current outside air temperature there? It is 25, so it is fine. Oh, look at the wind changing, brilliant. DME not authorised. Pilot controlled lighting, okay, cool. So in real life you can push the tour button to light up the runway. So that's it. 4429 is the minimums. If we're not visual, we go around. Toga, go around flat 15, sit ground for us. Pause radar, climb gear up 400 feet. Very important to get LNAV engaged and fly the missed approach here to Melvo, climb at 9,000 feet. So that's the approach. Runway's 2,000 metres, but actually beyond the threshold. Look, it's only 1,600. It is not.
You can expect that.
This is not a long runway here. It's going to be the order brake max. Let's actually have a look at the performance here. So 02. Let me just refresh the weather again on my phone. Go with the latest METAR. Oh, mine's still showing 2008 knots. What else do we go? Epic Ledger says this is fake clickbait. Oh, welcome. I made you click on it. I know. I've been fooling people for 4 years, buddy. Been fooling people for 4 years. Right, runway 02, 2.5%. Well, actually, the missed approach climb gradient, I don't think you could change in the mod here, but it's going to be definitely steeper. Yeah, re-engage LNAV, that's so important on this approach. We don't have a missed approach climb gradient, so that's not going to be the most accurate here. It's to do with performance calculations for the missed approach there. Winds then, let's put -5, just in case. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it with that, though. How do I put a -5? Crosswind in the mod. ZIBO, I've just go 0. Temperature 25. I think we're descending now as well. 1019. Flat 40 for sure. And landing weight's going to be 700 kilos off this, a 57.9er. Flat 40. This will be interesting. I don't know how to select tailwind. Okay, not so bad actually. 1902, but on the threshold's not included. I'm going max auto, just based off the last few practice approaches there. Will be grand. But listed, I reckon flat 50 to be safe. Brilliant. Yeah, let's do that. Flat 40, auto brake max, second detent reverser brake cooling, and then we'll go from there. Anyway, I think we've all got it covered. We're going to go from Melvo, as briefed. High terrain here, so it's so important to get LNAV. If you're IMC, imagine you get to your minimums, can't see anything. So important to have accurate information, your FMS loaded, get LNAV engaged, you can't see it. And very important. If you look here on the missed approach, I think it says here the missed approach also requires an RP of 0.3. So it's very important that you actually have a page to be able to monitor that up. So, you know, progress page 4 is really useful on RNAV approaches because that'll straight away give you your cross-check arrow and vertical deviation. You don't want to be drifting off it. There we go. So, I think we've got everything covered. We'll disconnect here, hand fly onto 02, which apparently now has no tailwind and will be grand. Excellent. I'm nervous. Anyway, oh yes. There is Toncontin VOR, not that we're using this at all, because it is a RNAV approach, but we'll tune it, look, you can see it's already on standby for my test sectors. There we are, and that's already identified. Anyway, welcome to Honduras, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the beautiful Ortho 4XP, all this time chatting, across the coastline already. Looking nice. This is Ortho 4XP, zoom level 15, ladies and gentlemen, zoom level 17 around the airport. Samuel, I'd fly this approach with a speed brake out if you really want to be safe. Absolutely not, Samuel. Not approved. Yes, in the BA 146 you could use the speed brake to control the speed on a steep approach, but you do not want to be landing with the speed brake extended on the 737NG. Having said that, the MAX does have a system to ensure that when you land, it lands on the main gear, and it can, in certain situations, extend the speed brake slightly to ensure a nose-up attitude, but that system's completely automated.
Mike November, you can expect that when able direct Melvo. Direct Melvo, Alpaca, did you Mike November?
25 degrees. It's great for this guy to have provided ATC pretty much the entire sector. Switching zones for ATC here. Peterloo, I knew you weren't a real pilot, I know.
Via Melvo, quit for the RMP approach on 02. Please do not run off the runway.
What was that?
Via Novo, cleared I am RMP 103. I'll try my best not to run off the
That's
runway.
brilliant. He said try not to run off the
Don't worry, I've been on here so many times and I've seen people fall off the runways.
Oh no! Thanks for the yeah. I basically, guys, when I actually did the test sector yesterday, I went off the edge of the runway as well, but that was more down to the fact it was raining, and X-Plane 11's wet runway modelling, as I was discussing earlier, it's like landing on an ice rink. You've got no stopping performance whatsoever. But that was with a tailwind, mind. But I landed it on the numbers. Fingers crossed. Chances of having to perform a terrain escape manoeuvre without LNAV is quite high, I would think. Yeah, it'd be difficult. It would be difficult, but you have to respect the terrain escape manoeuvre. Having said that, guys, what I might do for this approach, not that it's something I would do in real life at all, is actually put terrain inhibit on, just because of the modelling of the mod's terrain system, which is usually very good, but I did on the test sector now, I got a few terrain warnings left, right and centre. It was going pull up, and that would require a mandatory terrain escape manoeuvre. So did I get that? Was it a pull up or a caution? Can't remember, but yeah, we'd never do that. We can't just go, oh yeah, I don't want any terrain warnings today. Turn the system off. But it's a little bit sensitive, so coming into here, obviously this approach is hugging the ground very closely. I think I'll turn it off once we get onto the approach there. Apple 801, TACA Airlines ran off the runway in 2008. Well, there you go. Eduardo, can I get your livery? It looks like Dave Hagen's got you covered there and tagged you as well. Thanks, Dave. Excellent. Mafia V1 Mike, we have a few airports where the approach angle isn't even close to Pappies. I just briefed my FO about it, and that is what we see all at first look unstable. Yeah, Mafia, so we actually have a few as well, but not to the extent where, you know, the approach angle is way off what the Pappies say.
40,
I mean, obviously
30,
we respect the Pappies, but
20,
we're just told about it in the brief, saying,
10.
look, if you follow the approach down to minimums, you'll get 3 reds or 3 whites. You know, we're told in that case to disconnect, respect the Pappies. But in this case, I can't follow that approach 5.5 degrees. I'm going to get terrain. I'm going to get sync rates. I'm going to get terrain warnings. It'd be quite nice to know how the guys do it in the 7.3. Thank you very much, Mark Jackson. Would this be your field of view in real life? He said. Thanks for £2. Yeah, the way I have this positioned is sort of how I'm comfortable in a desktop simulator, looking at a 2D, you know, a flat screen here. So you can see, look, probably in real life maybe probably a bit higher, but the way I have this is set up so it gives you guys the best view of the PFD, the ND, and outside as well. But in real life, probably on approach, you know, I move my seat up a little bit higher, maybe something like that. Yeah, not that high, but yeah, something like that. So I have it a little bit lower in the mod there. But no, thank you very much for your donation, very kind. Is this the three-way one? Yes, Alexander, the airport's three-way. This is Bing Maps Ortho. The quality around the airport isn't great. It's okay. I mean, this whole stream is about flying that particular approach, not how the scenery looks. So yeah, I did go for zoom level 17, but I don't think the detail's quite there. I won't be looking at the scenery though. I'll be looking for these leading lights and the threshold. Jonathan Lewis, you know tomorrow's my brother's birthday. Tell your wish to him. The plane flag? You said that twice. Not sure what that is. Plane flag. Okay. Kiko, greetings from Nairobi, Kenya. Fantastic. Good day to you, Kaiko. Or Kayoko. Not going for butter today, no, John. Chances of butter, very unlikely. Very unlikely. Right, there's a transition altitude, so we can set the QNH. Cleared down to 9,000 feet by Melvo, and then straight onto the approach, guys. Remember the elevation here is, was it 3,300? So we're going to do our post-cruise checks probably around 13,000 feet. Matthew, by the way, you need the I Survived the Stanfield Stack shirt. What's that, Matthew? Sorry for my lack of knowledge on American references there. Oh, Jonathan, he's going to take a test on driving a car. Well, best of luck to your brother's driving test and birthday combined. And the Jules, the chances of butter may be low, but they're never zero. Absolutely, Jules. We'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. Well, apart from the wind, which might not be that favourable, we haven't got any of the thunderstorms. They haven't materialised. And we're looking good. A bit nervous again. Always get a little bit nervous these streams. Oh, this stream has flown by. It's been a lot of fun. I've not done any fuel checks en route. We've been chatting away. It's been lovely. I need to do some slightly longer sectors. QNH is now 1018, is it? It should be able to... 80 should update that for me. I still have the old meta on my phone. No return sectors today, Liam. Just the one today. But next sector in the 146 will be 2 sectors. 31 degrees here. 130 at 14 knots. Excellent. Oh, no, that's not good because that's the wrong airport. 1204 knots. Okay, so 1 knot tailwind. So yeah, calm winds pretty much. That's good. Fraser, this is a good game. This is the most realistic desktop simulator at the moment for commercial airliners. Oh, Matthew, in Phoenix.
Uniform, QNH 1018.
QNH 1018, Alpaca 4 Golf uniform. You are right, whoever said that.
QNH 1018.
EJ4S, thank you very much. Sorry, Matthew. In Phoenix, it's a massive holding baton over the TFD VOR for all students VFR practice approaches. Yeah, I mean, I did my flight training in Goodyear, Matthew, not too far from Phoenix. I mean, it was all VFR flying, and then the CPL, very basic instrument flying. But yeah, I mean, we didn't have to do any sort of procedural holds. My goodness me, there were so many flight training schools there. Lufthansa had a flight training school there, Oxford Aviation Academy. I mean, you're in the circuit, doing circuit traffic with 8, 9 other GA aircraft. It's crazy. Now, when I went there, the year before that, they had a mid-air collision where unfortunately there was a fatality. The Oxford Aviation Academy had a PA-28 which hit another aircraft. The guys survived that, but the other aircraft... After Malvo cleared RMP approach runway 02, Alpaca 4 Golf uniform. Yeah, there was also unfortunately a fatality, and it was just before we got out there, and they were retrofitting TCAS to all the aircraft. You know, to kind of mitigate against that. Unfortunately, we didn't have it, but there was a couple of occasions where I wouldn't say I had to make kind of like, you know, a manoeuvre to prevent a collision, but I was like, crikey, if we'd been on the same heading for another 10 seconds, we would have been a bit closer. So much traffic there. Right, anyway, as it's a really busy approach here, we'll turn that on. Mute the alerts, and we'll do the post-cruise checks now, around 10,000 feet to go. So fuel, we have plenty. Remember, it took an extra 30 minutes, so 4.4, it's enough for a couple of approaches comfortably. Lights coming on, APU's off, pressurization is 3.0, and the panel's all set. Seatbelt should have been on a bit sooner, recall checks complete. And we're now inbound to Malvo. Remember, I told ZIBO and the FMS I want to be doing 220 knots my Malvo, bring the speed right back, and then we'll carry on outbound. I'll probably select flap 1 here. And here is, straight ahead, Tegucigalpa. There is the capital of Honduras.
1178, cleared descend via the Talag when arrival, QNH 1018.
Jay, did any more Concorde videos coming soon? Yes, we did some recent streams in Concorde. I don't have anything planned in that aircraft in the immediate future, but no doubt it'll come out again soon. We've got such a wide variety of aircraft to fly now. I try and fly some of the more popular ones where possible, and also have a bit of fun in Microsoft Flight Simulator, do some GA stuff as well. But this is still my favourite of commercial airliners. Superb. So we've been cleared approach. Okay, so once we're approaching this point here now, usually what we do at my operator, we step down each altitude. We'll call this sort of the approaching descent point 2 miles before. So what I'm going to do is set the minimums. Actually, I'm going to go to 8,000 feet. No, let's go straight down. It should be fine in this system. And at my operator, we'd step down. So what I'm going to do is set the minimums. Plus, I'll round it up to the nearest 100 feet. 4,500 feet. Just keep it in VNAV path for now. and then we'll open the speed window just after I select flap 1. Now if I open the speed window now, it might go to VNAV speed, which is not what I want. I want it to go to VNAV path, but if you select flaps, there's an FMC logic which will lock in VNAV path, which is what you want for this approach here. So I'm actually going to select flap 1 now, low 250 knots, open the speed window, and there we are, stayed in VNAV path, which is good, and we'll select flap 1. We're going a little bit faster than we want here. You okay? Oh, you're joking. I've just had food arrive now. Why is it always food arrives just before? Oh, thank you very much, sweetheart. Busy approach here, thank you. Right, flap 1, green light. Let's go flap 5.
Alpaca 678, we cleared to begin descent. Alpaca 678.
20 degrees, no need for engine anti-ice here.
Roger, descent by area arrive. And you can make
Bob, what's the function of the recall at the end of some checklists? That's to ensure that any master caution lights are illuminated on the overhead panel can't be missed, so we push that there. And then we can complete any checklist for any applicable items. So there we are. Flap 5, bringing our speed back nice and early to 165 knots, not messing around. I'm going to probably configure gear down flap 15 when we start flying inbound at around 5-6 miles to touchdown. So next altitude is Tango Golf 015, 7,000 feet or above, and you can see here we want to be monitoring progress page 4. Cross-track error is 0.01, perfect, and the RMP, it should be 0.3. It's saying 0.5, but it's actually 0.02. The difference between these, cross-track error is your distance from the magenta line in the FMC. The ANP we have absolutely no control of. That is an estimated accuracy of the aircraft's position based off all the information it gets, GPS primarily, but IRS, DME, DMR. We have no control over ANP, but cross-track error is the distance from your magenta line. Right. Better get myself ready. Approaching around 4 or 5 minutes to touchdown now. Thrust coming up, that's completely fine. Tango Golf 015 coming up. Nightbots, save me there. Show some love, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button. Yes, if you are enjoying this approach into... Surely a thumbs up for my pronunciation of Tegucigalpa in Toncontin is worth a thumbs up. 700 watching, amazing. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. This is going to be one of the hardest approaches I've ever done. Right, there's Tango Golf 015. Check the cross-track error, still 0. Vertical deviation, you've got the deviation here, 0 as well. Looking good. Chris, does Mariana do deliveries? No. Little bug there, the decel circle is somewhere... in the distance, should be on the magenta line. In IMC, but that's fine, we've still got 3,000 feet above the minimums, and there we are, below clouds, and back into clouds.
KBN 694, taxi to the
Variable
gate,
says,
yeah.
where's the sky? It's there, it's there.
Taxi to the gate via Alpha, and I almost went off the runway.
Yeah, so...
Someone's down. Nearly went off the end. There we are. So now we're below clouds. Here's Honduras, the airport. Can we see it? There is the airport here. Look, that is the airport. So I'm going to start configuring now nice and early. VNAV's just updated. Keep an eye on that. So gear down, flap 15, match speed, landing checklist. So
Alpaca 4, Golf Uniform, clear land runway 02, wind 1204 knots.
runway 02 clear to land, Alpaca 4 Golf Uniform. So start switch is continuous, recall check, speed brake, arm green light, landing gear, down 3 green, order brake is set to max, and we go straight to flat 40, below 162 knots. Set this to runway heading now, 019. And what I'm going to do here, non-standard, but it's just a little bit sensitive, you get terrain warnings the whole approach. Oops, flat 40, that was my button pushing issues. Right, flaps, we have 40 green lights, and lights are on, checks complete. So, with such high minimums, they're above 1,000 feet in this case. We usually set the missed approach altitude 300 feet above minimums, but it's going to be super busy. You should be able to set it now. Missed approach was... altitude, 9,000 at Melvo, so 9,000 feet set. You can see it's not levelled off. There we are. So check's complete. Now at night you have these awesome lead-in lights, so these approach lights which curve round onto the runway, because obviously in the middle of the day here you can't see them. Utilise the automation till minimums, exactly what you want to be doing at an airport like this, especially if you're unfamiliar like I am. And then it'll be a gentle curve. We'll disconnect just as we start the turn there. Put my head into this sort of view here. Remember, we're landing on 02, that's the direction of the runway. There's the airport. That's good. Alert's muted. Yes. and fats are muted. Only I can hear them right now. I have my ways of fixing things. So yes, match the thrust. Target thrust is where it should be, perhaps a little bit too high. Would expect it to be more around 62%, especially at 3.5 degrees. Again, I'm approaching minimum soon. Utilising that flight management computer and the automation. I'll disconnect shortly. And on this approach, no need to recycle the flight directors. They can take your RF approaches, AR approaches all the way down to minimums. So again, that is not standard the terrain inhibits. Otherwise, it just goes pull up the entire approach. Right, approaching minimums then. So again, I'm just getting my head into a view where I can see the runway, see the instruments. You don't need to disconnect at minimums, but I'm only doing that because it's more fun. Right, let's do it.
Minimums.
And continue with visual, so disconnecting autopilot, disconnecting auto throttle. Sort of looking at the flight directors and the runway here. Waiting for that initial turn.
Mike November, via Melvo, cleared RMP approach on E02. Via Melvo.
So speed's okay, and we're going to start that turn very shortly. Here comes the turn.
United 1178.
Just keeping that rate of descent is around 800 feet per minute. Oh, it's so awkward. Sorry about the graphics. I know they're not the best, but at least the aircraft handles like the real aircraft. So just that speed is decreasing slightly.
Did I clear you for the
Just keep it descending. Don't want to get too high here.
Yes, you cleared us for like 1 hour ago. United 1178.
There's the threshold.
Thank you.
Keep it descending, going a little bit high here. Right over the hill, a little bit high. And can I get back into the runway? That's looking good. Thank God we've got no wind. There we go. So keep it descending now. Just watch that sink rate though, no more than 1,000 feet per minute really. Onto the extended centre line. Keep it descending now. Don't want to float here. There we are on final.
50,
Keep it descending.
40, 30, 20,
Check.
10.
Close. Hold the attitude. Oh dear. Well, we'll take it here. We don't want to mess around. Right. Speed brakes up. Oh, no button. We're down. 100 knots. 80 knots. And you can see, look, despite the fact I smashed it down, we're using pretty much all that runway. 60 knots, ladies and gentlemen. Nice firm landing down here in Toncontin International. Ouch, yeah, very good. That's going to be one of the hardest ever.
Well, 2-0 today. Alpaca 4 Golf Uniform taxi to the gate via Alpha. Good day.
Taxi Gate via Alpha, Alpaca 4 Golf Uniform. Thank you so much for ATC at both airports, sir, and have a great evening.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for flying, man. Good day.
Ciao. Perfect. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever time to Honduras. Right, I'm not even going to look at chat. You guys love this. Oh, the approach was perfect over the threshold there.
Alpaca 2 Golf, runway
And the button was just lacking, wasn't it? Oh dear, dear.
Runway 02, Alpaca 2 Golf.
Oh, I sense the banter's never going to stop here, and the comments on this video for as long as it resides on YouTube. Can I put a claim into an RS Turbo? No questions. No, I'm not going to even answer this. Right, taxi and music coming up. Oh dear. Not even funny. Right, let's start doing the cleanup. So trim, transponder to out, off. Flaps are coming up. The flap retraction and extension speeds have been rectified, so they are back to what they should be. They were a little bit fast for a while. Flight director's off. 9-1. Landing lights can come off as well. Start switches off. Strafes to steady. Oh no, not just yet. And probes off. And AP starting. I hope I'm still on the taxiway. Yes, just about. Excellent. No, the average. I'm new. Hello, welcome to the channel. I'm leaving a bad review on TripAdvisor. Love it. Awesome. Yeah, it was a lovely flight. Great to have ATC here. Really nice, that chap. That's very good of him. Right, we'll take stand number 2. I think there's only 2 stands of air bridges available. Non-spreadable butter. Oh dear. I think that's going to be one of our top 5 hardest landings. At least I've done the cleanup flow correctly. There we are. Yeah, this is just the default airport, guys. There wasn't any... there was a freeway airport, but it seemed to match this one. It was identical. There we are. Let's bring it to a stop. Wonderbar. Right, parking brakes set. AP's available. You know what to say is, guys. 2 blues, 1 red. Engines are dead. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Toncontin International, Tegucigalpa, Honduras. Another successful Alpaca Airways flight, albeit a very hard landing. Oh dear, but I tell you what, I'd far rather land at 350 feet per minute than going off the end of the runway. If I ever went off the end of the runway, I would never, you guys would never let it go. Neither would my colleagues. Do you know, interesting fact, I've not yet crashed. One situation was, yes, in the Seneca, was messing around with an external view and I crashed, I hit the ground. But all my commercial jet airliners, we have an impeccable safety record here at Alpaca Airways. I've even managed to do a loop-the-loop in an Airbus A300 and land with a mouse. Butter included, no problem.
40,
Jason,
30,
is 380 feet per
20,
minute concerning?
10.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That would be hard, but no problem at all. Thanks, Lewis.
I want to get off this plane.
Thanks a lot for the £5, Lewis. Unbelievable, thank you. No, we'll talk about it because it's obviously a very hot topic. You know, hard landing, especially in the sim community. What is acceptable? What isn't acceptable? Now, when I started streaming, you know, everyone referenced feet per minute.
50,
we don't actually.
40, 30, 20, 10.
Queen Elizabeth II, Lizzie Windsor is in the house. Thanks for the £5.
If anyone finds my dentures, please send to Buckingham Palace, Spur Road, London, GBS W1A1AA.
Unbelievable, Your Majesty. I didn't realise you were stowing away on this sector from the Cayman Islands to Tegucigalpa. We'll find your dentures and we'll make sure we'll get them straight back to the palace for you. Thank you very much, Lizzie Windsor, for your £5 donation. Very, very kind. Yes, as I was saying, landing rates then, when I started streaming, you guys were saying, what is the amount of feet per minute, which is an acceptable landing? And we never make reference to feet per minute for landing. You know, if it's a very heavy landing, there's a system on the aircraft which will, look at that, who's coming in here? Let's see if he's going to run off there. Don't be the first Alpaca Airways runway excursion. Uh-oh. Brake. Yeah, look at that, he's stopping. I must talk to the engineer about the flaps on some of our aircraft there. Good job. Oh, this music would have been very suitable for the Cayman Islands. Is he going off? No, he's just going to the end. Very good. So what is it kind of an acceptable landing rate? I've landed at... I'm just going to disconnect just to free up some of the stands here. Oh shit, I'm just going to message this guy. Just because his ATC was amazing. I just want to say thanks. So yeah, you know, now I've got some experience with the sim and seeing what sort of landing rates and what feet per minute you get. I can tell you that the landing I described when someone asked what was my heaviest landing earlier, the one into the Fuerteventura, if I was to compare that to feet per minute, I'd say I've landed the 737 with 600-700 feet per minute. I've done that before, and there was no issue whatsoever. The aircraft just bounced there, didn't even trigger a hard landing inspection. Now, hard landings, I think, are in excess of 750 feet per minute, and the aircraft is more than capable of taking that sort of punishment. The only thing is the engineers will need to inspect the aircraft afterwards to make sure there's no damage, of course. So that landing, what was it here? Minus 350 is like half of what, you know, the aircraft can actually, well, not even half the aircraft can take. The aircraft probably take 4 times that, but it's half the point at which it would require even an inspection. So it was firm. You feel that, and the passengers would be going, "Ooh, don't want to fly Alpaca Airways anymore." But that's a completely safe landing in those situations there. Aircraft Gamer, do you remember the 7,000 feet per minute? Yes, I do. I had a little glitch there. Again, that wasn't entirely my fault, but I do remember the minus 7,000 feet per minute. Right, anyway, just before I do tune out, I always like to look at some of the comments here on the approach there. There's some usually very amusing comments there. Yes, my back. Control crash, said Castle Bravo. Bravo, thank you. Warhawk said ouch, as did Samuel Butler, as did John Badfield. Jintara said, what an approach, absolutely. You were concentrating what was important, which was the beautiful views. Dave said, if there's a chiropractor on board, please make yourself known to the cabin crew. Yep, well done. Alan spilled his coffee. Christian said, are your wheels still attached? Frozen butter. I landed a 777, said Lynn 123 Co 445. Congratulations. Marmite landing. Other yeast-based toasted products are available. Gary said cold butter. Pro landing people. Absolutely, Lewis. Thank you. I'll take that today. Excellent. Excellent. Some fantastic comments as usual. Aftermath said, do you pay for medical bills? Because my back hurts. Brilliant. 10 out of 10. Right, anyway, let's log off the VATSIM network. Lincoln was amazing, the controller today, providing the ATC. And yeah, let's have a look here and play the funky replay music. See what it actually looked like from outside. Now, why is my... I pressed it, but it's not working. Oh, it's the volume's turned down this time. There we are. So let's put ourselves onto the approach here. Let's have a look here for the threshold. Ah, look at that. That is a view. Turn the music down here. It's very funky, very loud. What an awesome approach though, look at that. So I don't think it's the most difficult because you've got the FMS and the flight management computer, but I'd like to come back in here and another aircraft for sure. So there's the check. Yeah, checked it. Oh, Boeing. Didn't bounce though. Oh, it did bounce. Nothing to see here. Yeah, pretty firm. You noticed that one. You get a bit of stick from your colleague, but absolutely fine. More time. So I checked and it was just a little bit too low. And I was like, oh no, check firm. Boom. I don't care. Not on the end of the runway. Let's do another one. How close you get to the ground. That's why I turned off the terrain radar, because it'll be going off all the time. Not good practice though. Don't ever do that in real life. PG, yeah, we were manual. There's the check. Boing. Right at the centre line though. And braking hard. No more difficult approaches in a while. That's London City, and now Toncontin. I've done 2 approaches. I need to go back to something more simple.
2500.
I'm joking. Awesome. Yes, I know. 2500. Oh, cool. The tower view is quite nice. Let's do one more. I showed a ZIBO approach review. So let's have a look. Actually, see what ZIBO said. Surely that is the be-all and end-all. I'll actually end the replay and see what ZIBO scored it. Liz Sharla. Right on the numbers though. Boing. 0 stars. Let's have a look here. I'll just end the replay quickly. ZIBO, be nice, be nice. I can't remember where to find it. Oh no, a great approach rating, but what was my landing rating? 3 stars. Other airlines available, ladies and gentlemen. Savage. High rate of descent below 500 feet. Fair enough. I think it was because it was a little bit steeper. That's why the approach rating. Let's have a look here on landing rating. How do I get to landing rating? Does it flick over automatically? Oh, how do I get to a landing one? They might charge you for tyre wear. Unbelievable. Thanks, Gadget Badger. Another great stream. Lama Airlines does better. Absolutely not for us. How do I see what my, why I got penalised? I see approach and landing rating, but I only have the option for approach rating. I actually don't know, but I thought you could flick between the two. It doesn't do landing rating. Ah, okay. Well, thanks, ZIBO, for the 3 stars. I can't improve my performance now if you don't tell me what it was. Right. Anyway, let's put you back in the a nice window seat here for the approach. Where are we there? I think that should do us nicely.
2,500.
Probably a little bit further back than that, and we've got to do. Yeah, I reckon that one's got to be the one we want. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for popping into another Flight Deck Sim live stream. Finally ticked off another difficult approach on the bucket list. If you have any more approaches you'd like me to fly, put that in the comment section below, or DM me, or whatever you wish to do via social media as well. To everyone donating, thank you so much for the support. Thank you, Her Majesty, as well, for popping in. To all the regular viewers, thank you so much for watching, and to all the members for the continued support, thank you so much. Don't forget to smash the videos, thumbs up button, subscribe as well to stay up to date with the latest content. If I don't go live on the gaming channel, very likely next aircraft we'll fly will be the 146. I'm going to do a nice 2-sector day into that aircraft before I forget everything again. As ever, stay safe, and I'll see you all very soon.